Hi, this is Kelly from Gardening Adventures, and today I am thinking about putting in some beans in the seeds and maybe a little squash. It's getting a little sunny out there, a little warm out there, and I just figured, this is the time. This is the time to, at least get a little bit in the ground and see how it goes. Some of the things I do like to grow is the Kentucky wild bean and summer squash. The yellow coconut squash is like favorite around this house. It's got a lot of flavor to it, and it's pretty hardy. I can just can it. I can freeze it. I can just cook it on a skillet, and it just tastes delicious. And so usually I'll get a tray like this, and I'll get a little soil. Right now I have a little bit of potting mix, but I've used garden soil. I've used organic soil. I've used just soil I made myself. With the beans and the squash, they'll grow through just about any kind of soil that you can imagine. They're pretty hardy. A small seed like a lettuce or a radish, you might want to have something that's been sifted through so it doesn't have the large chunks through there. But these seeds are pretty big and they'll just grow through anything. Another thing could do is chop a little bit off of this top of this crooked-neck squash. That'll allow the water to get in. So if you want the seed to grow, a couple days faster, you can do that. But for this, I will just put them straight into the pot. I got some squash out there, and I'm not quite in a rush. It's not quite warm enough yet. It's getting there. So I figured, you know what? Let's just do this now. So I'll fill this up. Not too much, just enough to where there's no air pockets or anything like that. I don't like to compact it too much, to give room for the roots to grow around and everything like that. So I'll fill this up. Another thing you could do is if you're growing more than one seed and something like this, you can get like labels and stuff like that. So you can label, say like one section is your squashes, one section is your green beans. Maybe you'll grow pumpkins in the other ones, stuff like that, so you don't get mixed up. I've done it to where I haven't labeled anything, and sometimes I don't know what I'm planting in the ground. But I like to have a lot of veggies on the property, so if there's a couple of them I'm not quite sure, that's okay. I'll still eat it. I'll still enjoy it wherever it comes up. But yeah, if you have limited, property, or if you're growing in pots, you might want to label just so that way you're growing what you want to grow and how much you want to grow. The one good thing about growing from seeds is it's pretty cheap. So if I lose a few seeds here and there, it's not too much of an issue. And there's my gardening kitty, Lucy. She likes to check out what I'm doing and stuff like that. So she's a good kitty. But I get it filled like that, and then I'll get like a spray bottle full of water, and I'll just lightly spray the soil in. You can mix the soil with water beforehand, or you can do it afterwards, like I'm doing here. For squashes and beans, they've always grown for me no matter what. So, but if you got more sensitive plants, something that may take a little longer to grow. These will pop out in a week or two, but you might have some plants that's just a little harder to grow, so you kind of want to make sure you're doing everything step by step. But I'll put a little bit like that, and I'll make a few indentations here, just like that. And so I'll do that, and I'll put the seeds in like that. And let's drop one per one. Do like that, like that. Some trays, if you got bigger trays, you can do more than one if you're worried about the germination. But like I said, the squash seeds they'll pop up. I'll have more squash plants that I know what to do with. I'm usually chucking them at my neighbors, my friends and family. You want a squash? How about a squash? There's about 5 or 6 of them. They just grow. They grow like weeds. But yeah, you can put the beans in the ground and they just shoot up so fast. Sometimes you might have like a week before, and it's like you're questioning yourself, but you just give it some time. Once the weather's warm, and you have enough water, enough fertility, they won't stop growing. You'll have way more than you'll need. But you can never have too many veggies, in my opinion. You can always give them away if you have too much. You can can. We'll can beans and squash, so that way we can have it during the times when we can't grow. Because there will be times. I'm fortunate enough to where I'm in Northern California, so I think my growing season is a little bit longer, but you could be somewhere where it snows and stuff like that. So you kind of want to grow a little bit extra, so that way you can enjoy your hard work a lot longer. Maybe all year round if you grow enough. But I'll grab a little bit more soil, just a little bit, not too much. Just kind of sprinkle here, a little bit there. Not too much, not to bury it crazy. Like I said, if you have a smaller seed, you might want to be careful how much soil you want to put on top of it. But these will go through this, in a heartbeat. And I'll spray a little bit more water, like that. Now, when the seeds do pop up, you want to be able to water from underneath. That way it wicks up to the roots. You don't want to water on top of the leaves. If the water stays there, it can create mold, some kind of bacteria. But I'll put this on a little heating mat because I want to keep the soil nice and toasty. Not too hot, but the heating mat's regulated. So that way it warms up the soil and it tells these guys just to wake up. And when they start waking up, they popping up. Then they'll be on a grow light, and that way you can kind of stimulate the light outside. You could put them on a windowsill, on a covered deck, with a little bit of sunlight coming from the sides, just whatever you got, basically. And then once they grow enough to where I feel like they can go into the ground, I'll acclimate them. I'll take them out to where they're going to be planted, sit them there for a couple hours, then bring them in for the night, so that way they can acclimate to the temperature, but not go overnight until I'm ready for them to plant. And that's when I will put I'll put more soil, I'll put fertilizer. I won't do fertilizer here. You'll see a lot of times in nurseries that they're shooting up from little small pots. It's because of the fertilizer they put in there, but I'll just wait for the fertilizer until I'm out there. I usually use like an organic soil, or I'll use a blood meal that's like a 1200 if I want something like a squash to grow up a little faster. It's got a lot more leaves to it and stuff like that. So so thank you. If you like what you saw, just hit the like and subscribe button, and thank you again from Garden Adventures.